Storing run-of-the-mill files that you've downloaded from the web in Finder folders is okay, but when you're dealing with scholarly articles, you should really use a bibliography manager like Papers. This type of app can automatically find metadata for your files and assign them to the titles. So here's a file that I've downloaded from the internet. Oh, lo and behold, it has filled out all of the metadata for this file. It knows who the author is, the year in which it was published, what the title is, etc. Now let's reveal this in the Finder, which you can easily do. And here we are, showed up in a different place. Hide the sidebar. So now you see that it has filed it according to my specifications, which is determined in the preferences of that app. So here we are. It's filed by the author and the year of publication. So I can then use Spotlight to find this file. Now, Papers has another mode of storing files that mangles this information, so you have to be careful in your settings if you want to be able to read the file names properly, and I've discussed this on the CogZest blog, and I'll provide a link to it in this book. Then you can search for your files by the meaningful metadata, for instance, the author. If I want to find all of the papers by Sloman, I can do this. Quite a few files written by Aaron Sloman, but because it has named the files on the Finder, look at this, reveal in Finder, it says named it properly with Sloman, then I can find all the files written by Sloman by doing a Finder search in a Spotlight, which I could do up here, name Sloman. If I know the year of publication, such as 1978, I can very quickly get to that file, enter, and open it, and here we are. The Papers app has several ways for you to organize your PDF files. You can create smart collections, which are basically smart searches. Let's look at the search criteria here, for example. So find all the papers that are rated as so many stars. You can find papers written by a particular person, full name containing, say, Sloman, or whatever. Okay, so these are collections that you set up and you tear down as you're doing your research. It also allows you to create static collections. Now, if you're working on a paper, or you just want to organize your research, when you download a PDF, you can actually drag and drop it into folders that you create. You can create a nested hierarchy. So notice that this looks a lot like the hierarchy in the Finder that I showed you earlier, like this, right? But instead of using aliases, well, we don't know how this is implemented, but we don't have to manage aliases. So that's the main thing. Now, an interesting thing with this is that a given PDF file can exist in multiple different collections. So you don't have to worry about placing your file in the best spot. As you're writing papers or doing research on a particular topic, if you need to keep information together, then you can have the same file in multiple PDFs. And you can even have smart collections that are nested within regular collections. So here are all the papers by Dr. Gunzelman. So the author is Guns. This is someone who researches fatigue and vigilance. So this is a smart place to include that information. There are also a couple of ways in which you can solve the iOS syncing problem by using Papers. Papers has its own sync engine. There's an iOS version of Papers that has it syncing through Dropbox. I recently got a tip from Peter Brems, who had tried out the most recent DevonThink sync client on iOS and found it to be excellent. And that is how he's syncing his PDF files, and it's something that I'm going to be moving towards in the near future. So that illustrates an advantage of or a feature of DevonThink, which is that it can index files that are not in its OPEG database. It can index files outside of its database. So DevonThink doesn't tie you to using its database, unlike, say, Evernote. In the chapter on evaluating knowledge resources, I'll give you some more tips about using the Papers app. And this topic will show up throughout the book.